Okay, so you have your origamis now, and you can see that these are like large, these are mediums, and these are smalls right over here. And so you're gonna get your straws and you're gonna lay out. You can look at the layout that you have, and or you could just relay it out again like this. Now, when you grab your straws and you're like, oh, I need to connect these right in here, what you do is you just, you go ahead and you fold it in there, and then, let me see. Hold on a second, pause it. Okay, so if you want to connect these straws, right, what you do is you again, you kind of fold right in there, and then you slip it in there like this. And that's how you can make it big. Then, if you need to make it like not this long, you can then chop it here or what have you. So we're going to start with this one as the top, and then she might want to maybe do a large one here, and then maybe a small one over here, so she can start laying out how she wants it. Maybe she just wants this one to have a string that goes down, and then below this one, she wants a small one with two pieces under here. She may want to do maybe one stick here with a rabbit, and then down here, she may want to cut this and put two small ones down in here. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is, let's suppose she is going to do two small ones, or maybe she's going to do two pieces like this, but if they're too close and they hit each other like this, right? If she opens the wings up and they might hit each other, remember that you can also change how high they are. Instead of them being next to each other like this, one could be lower, the other one could be higher. And so you see when they spin, they don't necessarily hit each other. So the first thing you're going to do before you start stringing it up is doing the layout, the physical layout, where you lay things out and you try to even cut the straws. Don't have all the straws be the exact same. Try and change some of the lengths of the straws as well. Once that's done, you will start stringing it up, and then you will start seeing like where the balance is before even putting the final string, which is on the top stick. So if you can see how this one's nice, right? Look, she's got two small ones, and she's got this one here, and it spins. But now she has to be careful, because when it spins here, if she hangs something from this string down, it has to be lower. Although this string might be the string that goes up, so I think that's what that is. But still, so you can see that this is nice, and this is what you want. You want to make sure that they don't hit each other, that nothing hits each other. Okay? And when you're tying a knot and you're tying these together, yeah, you just find a little tip in there and you tie it in there. And it's a square knot. Okay? All right. Okay, so we're going to attach these two to this little stick here. So I have a T-pin. A T-pin is good because you can, go ahead and make a hole in here. So we've done that, right? And then, can go in there. And that's it. Try to get in the middle. I didn't quite get it exactly in the middle, but that's good enough. Then once you do that, it's very easy to then come in here and, poke the needle. But I suggest that you first do the actual piece. Now, do we want to do it here or do we want to do it here? Okay, so you can either go, but one of the things is don't get it too close because it's going to break the tip. So just go down a little bit, right around here. And then, if it's too hard, remember, use the T-pin to go through. So now, what I want to talk about is making a square knot. A square knot. So, for instance, a square knot is a knot that, it goes in opposite directions, both knots. So, here I have like just, let's call it the straight line, and then the wiggly line, right? So, I'm just going to go over, and then I'm going to go under, and then through the hole, and then I pull, right? So we just went over, under, and through. Now what I'm going to do, instead of going over, I'm going to go under, then I'm going to go over, and then I'm going to go through the hole. So now what I've done is I've created a square knot. That should be good, but sometimes what I like to do is I like to do it twice. So now I'm going to go over, under and through. And then I'm going to go under, over and through. And now I've made 2 square knots. Okay? Notice that I never let go of this string, so that way I don't confuse it. So I have the dancing string and then I have the stable string. Now, when I cut, I usually say just give it about a finger, you know, so I'll just cut it like there. Later on in the project, you could trim it down a little more, like maybe I'll trim it down just a little more. That should be good enough. So now I have this string. Now, when I come in here, I'm going to do the same thing. But instead of doing that, I'm going to just give it some extra string. And I'm just going to keep it like this for now, and then I'm going to go ahead and tie this other one. Okay? Okay, so here we're trying to figure out how to make it a bit more dynamic. Before, this, she had it like this, and like this, and like this, right? But it just wasn't as interesting. So what I'm suggesting is that instead, maybe, you see how this is a little bit longer but shorter, and this one's a little bit longer here. We're going to go ahead and maybe move this over here like this. You know, make it a little bit tighter in here. Then this stick, we'll put it right here. And so what we'll do is, we'll hang a string here, and then we'll hang a string going all the way down in here. And then we'll crop this right here a little bit. And then we'll see. So what we got to make sure though is that maybe this has to be a little bit lower, because when this yellow one goes around, we got to make sure this piece doesn't hit this string. So we'll probably move this over. But I think this might give it a bit more interest. And it's okay to have a string all the way down here with nothing happening. You know? Okay? So that's what I was trying to say. Maybe we can shrink it in a little bit and move it down a little bit. Okay.